Ace Attorney is pretty weird. I mean, it's a series about playing as a defense attorney where you try to prove your client innocent of murder, so I guess they gotta make things interesting to prevent the game from getting boring. Even then, there are still some moments that are pretty out there. This isn't really a bad thing, in fact it's what makes the franchise as a whole great, but they're still pretty fucking absurd. Case 3 from Justice for All had you investigating a murder at a circus. I really could put anything from Turnabout Big Top on here. When you've got puppets proposing to 15-year-old girls but also have a magician who fights with said puppet over marrying said girl, you know you're in for some absurdity. Clowns that tell really bad jokes, a world-famous magician who's just really a bloke from the south, crippled acrobats, and children who believe we all become stars when we die. Just your average circus family. But what's a circus without monkeys that steal stuff? You've encountered this mischievous primate before when he stole your attorney's badge, but now when it's your job to track him down personally to retrieve another stolen item, only for your options when you encounter him to be 1. Give it back, monkey brain, 2. Stay, and 3. Ooh, 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 scratch, scratch. You know you're in for something weird. To make this more out there, the Pursuit song plays while this happens. The theme that's supposed to be for really intense moments where you're finding the truth sounds off in this rather comedic scene. It just ends up making it more funny because of how out of place it is. Apollo Justice takes place 10 years after the first Ace Attorney game and stars an entirely new cast of characters, with hardly any of the previous ones showing up. So this game would have to integrate the new characters with the same quirkiness that came with the previous cast. And it managed to do this decently well. Clavier playing the air guitar and referring to Apollo as Hair Forehead along with Darian's hair bits. Now that's a pompadour that can rival Winston Payne. Oh wait, he lost that, but then grew more hair on his side. What were we talking about again? But the new character with the most quirks is by far Trucy. Phoenix's adoptive magician daughter is no slouch in terms of bringing weird moments. I mean, magic panties. What even? But she is a magician after all. Other than undergarments that can make things disappear when they're placed into them, what other tricks does she have? Would a kidnapping stunt work? When things are appearing to become hopeless in the first trial of Turnabout Corner, Trucy gets a knife stuck to her neck and is taken hostage. Only it's revealed that Trucy set up the whole thing with another one of her magic acts, the amazing South Park character. As obscure as this moment is, it actually manages to fully introduce the perceive ability by explaining the little things that witnesses do when they're unsure about what they're saying. And it works in the end, not guilty and all. Fake kidnappings for the win. Dual Destiny's DLC case, Turnabout Reclaimed, had you investigate a murder at an aquarium. The victim was the owner of the place, so naturally the suspect is the performing orca. Yep. And you actually take the case of defending a killer whale and trying to prove its innocence. There have always been essentially hopeless cases in Ace Attorney, but I'm just wailing at how absurd this is. I know that animals have been involved before in court cases, but this is just going off the deep end, don't you think? Not only does this trial actually go through, but it gets intense, and you legitimately do manage to prove that Orla the orca was not responsible for the death of Jack Shipley. Instead, the blame goes towards her trainer, Sasha. Okay, at least it's back to normal. No more business involved with that killer whale, right? Well, shit. Furio Tigre. He's weird. He's really fucking weird. But that's why I enjoy him so much. He's by far one of the most entertaining villains in the entire Ace Attorney series. Not only does he impersonate Phoenix at the beginning of Recipe for Turnabout using a very convincing badge, if I do say so myself, but his angry outbursts that cause a lot of people to shake in fear to the point where they hide under any sort of table they can find. It's great, and cross-examining this guy is a real hoot. The previously mentioned scare people so they hide under tables is there, but it gets even more ridiculous. You can only press the tiger beyond once on the correct statement. Questioning further the wrong statement will result in a penalty. His way of saying question the right stuff or get punished, he needs to make a meeting, and if you keep him there longer than needed, he will bill you, but he'll also make you borrow the money from Tender Lender, his loan shark business. Oh, and keep in mind this is the same guy who somehow managed to successfully pull off being you at the beginning of this case. Top 5 impersonators, chaps, get on it. So, as you can clearly see, animals have been used quite a lot in Ace Attorney. But this all stems from something, right? Yeah, cross-examining a fucking parrot. Do you really get more weird and absurd than this? Maybe spirit channeling when it started, but you really just learn to accept that as part of something mystical a game universe likes to add. But this? Holy hell, I've lost all sense of reality at this point. Struggling to get information from an old man who supposedly has memory loss, Von Karma offers that Phoenix cross-examine his parrot for comic relief. Little did he know, that would actually turn out to be his biggest downfall. The fact that the only testimony you have to work with is, hello, hello, squawk, at first seems hopeless. But this being the very thing that leads to a not guilty verdict for Edgeworth makes this even more ridiculous. The fact that a fucking parrot that had very little to say at first would give Manfred von Karma his first ever defeat is absolutely astounding. Birds, helping solve murder cases 1 graham cracker at a time. Maybe they should get them to help in real life. Literally, what is life?